Ever use misleading statistics when you've been representing the Scottish Government abroad?
I think what Mr Ross is referring to are statistics that were used both by the United Kingdom Government and the Scottish Government in relation to renewable energy potential, which
ever used them when you knew they were wrong?
So I have been extremely careful that when I have become completely aware that statistics are out of date, they've been updated. They're no longer the best statistics to use. That those are statistics that I don't use, and I should use the current statistics on things.
Just on a timeline, your department were told on the 6th of September about a statistic, the 25% potential renewables from Europe. This is about this. No, Chair, I cannot believe you're going to stop a politician. I cannot believe you're going to do this, Chair. This is incredible. If you're going to do what I think you're going to do, I wonder if you are following your duties as an impartial chair of this House.
What I'm trying to do is try to conduct an inquiry into promoting Scotland
let me ask
internationally.
The questions.
That question bears absolutely no relation unless you get some point of conclusion about it.
Well, I will.
We're here with the Cabinet Secretary today.
So the conclusion is that on the 4th of October, you spoke to governments across Europe about a statistic you had been told on the 6th of September should not be used. Your department then went back to say the Cabinet Secretary, we have a specific ask to include that figure in a statement. They were told minutes later that we don't have the evidence to back up that statement, therefore we advise against using it, but you used it at subsequent meetings. Why was that?
So, Convener, you'll be aware
Chair,
that this is...
No, the Scottish Parliament.
I'm happy to be called anything.
Note for that.
What I want to do is try to ensure that everybody else gets an opportunity to ask questions about promoting Scotland internationally. If you can answer that question as briefly and concisely as possible, then we could move on to the inquiry.
This matter has already been subject of a parliamentary statement in the Scottish Parliament and a significant number of written questions, and I'm happy to answer MSPs in the Scottish Parliament. I'm here to give evidence today in relation to the promotion of Scotland by the United Kingdom Government.
The question...
That is why I'm here to give evidence, Mr Convener.
But the question, Mr Robertson, because I still have the floor at the moment, the question is the statistics you use when you're representing the Scottish Government abroad and Scotland's place internationally. And I think, finally, Chair, then if you're going to try and bring this to a close, I think it's really important that we know about that timeline. Did you knowingly use a statistic when discussing this with foreign governments that you had been told was wrong, could not be proved, and had been asked not to include? Yes or no?
So, Convener, I refer to my previous answer, which is this has been subject to a parliamentary statement.
He didn't get
and
answers
a large
there.
and has absolutely nothing to do with the United Kingdom's promotion of Scotland internationally.
And we've also had an engaged and prolonged discussion about this with another Scottish Government Minister when he was here. So can we now please move on to promoting Scotland internationally? If you finish, we've got 3 colleagues, we've only got half an hour with the Cabinet Secretary. Can we move on?
Well, I still have time compared to what you got at the start. I think it is really important, though. You said you've given statements to the Scottish Parliament and answered questions about this. You'll also be aware that the press have said almost exclusively that you refuse to answer. Why are you refusing to answer to this committee as well?
We've been through this. We've dealt with it. We will have to have a discussion about it. Philippa Whitford, thank you.
Sorry, just on a point of order then, before we move to Philippa Whitford, can we ask that it to be noted that for the first time the Chair has prevented members asking witnesses relevant questions to the inquiry and from getting answers? And I think this is something we'll have to write to the witness about to get the answers in writing.
Thank you, and we will indeed. Can we now move on to discussing the rest of the session on promoting Scotland internationally, which I'm sure Philippa Whitford will now do. Philippa.